Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports Network and the host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show, and you're watching Our Lady of Sports, Sonia Pearson, host of Prim and Proper Sports. Thanks for watching.
What's up, everybody? It's Friday, and allow me to reintroduce ourselves. It's Friday with the fellas, and you know nobody can tell us nothing because I got them all. Kevo, J-Train, Fernando. What's up, guys? Y'all like the introduction?
I love it.
Yeah.
Guys, we are rebranded for 2025. We got everybody on deck. Let me introduce y'all, okay? Because, you know, it's been a while since we all here were together. Fern had gotten a new job and all new commitments. So once and for all, for everybody, Fern, NYG for life, the national championship. Let me rename it. The bow down, stay 10 toes down, Ohio State. What up, Fern? Congratulations.
It feels good. It feels good. Finally, one of my teams was able to come through for me, so that makes a difference.
Yes, it is. J-Train, the one, the soldier standing in the gap, the most dependable, never pretendable, J-Train, New Orleans Saints, LSU, NFL Download co-host, and the Sunday Morning Big Football Show. And how you doing, J-Train?
Doing great. I'm glad to be with the four horsemen and three horsemen and the lady of soul for sure.
Yeah, y'all. I guess y'all three stallions, and I don't know what I am. What do you call a female horse? Not a mare, right? Let me not
right. That's totally the most backward thing I ever heard. They call a woman a stallion, and it's
Megan. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, the winner of the NFC South, the one and only Falcons fan. Here we go. FO, Muddy Birds, Dirty Birds, 10 toes down, country, cornbread, collard greens, fried chicken, watermelon, juice. Evan, how you doing tonight, bro?
You know, the dirtiest bird is in the building. You know, I
see that dog fighting jersey on. I see you brought the fight with that Vic jersey.
Got that Vic.
You know, two brothers in the Super Bowl, me in the NFC Championship. So,
I
had to go have them represent. You know.
Yeah, and congratulations to now Coach Michael Vick. He come a long way. He like Virginia Slims. You know, he done came a long way, baby. That's what the cigarette from back in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if they still use that slogan or not, but
I said Outcast. I know you represent Outcast.
It is. Yep. It's so good to see you guys. And of course, I'm your host, Sonia, host of Prim and Proper Sports. I am a fan of Duke Blue Devils, UGA, Go Dogs, and the Carolina Panthers. And y'all, it's been a long time since we're all together. I'm so glad that you guys could join us tonight. Everybody share this download. Say what up. Hello, Yoli. Good evening. Our first guest, the lovely Yoli, Green Bay Packer extraordinaire fan. Hope you're doing well and staying warm out there, sis. You guys heard Mac. He told y'all to download the Roku app to find us on Northeast Professional Sports. Also, we're on the Huddle Sports Network. We'll play that little plug a little bit later on in the show, actually, for the outro. But y'all, a lot of news to handle. Big news today coming from the Raiders. Pete Carroll is back in the NFL, y'all. The freshest breath out there, coming off of his Trident tour, his Denting tour, his Wrigley's tour. Mr. Pete Carroll now back in the stadium, Allegiant Stadium, that is. Guys, what were your thoughts when you saw that Pete run him down the sidelines? Carroll is back. 73 years old, oldest coach in the league.
Well, I don't know if he's running up and down the field anymore. 73 is, I mean, the average age is 25.9 on the football team. My question is, can he still relate to the young players anymore? Because now he's somebody's grandfather. And he's old enough to be their grandfather. So, but again, what he does bring is winning pedigree. My man has won at the collegiate level, at the highest pinnacle, and he's also won at the NFL professional level. So there's that possibility there. I mean, does he bring stability there? He is a player's coach, but is he still a player's coach? He has been a player's coach, but is he still one at 73 years old? And he's going to be 74 in September. So again,
birthday. Oh my goodness.
Or did he win on a collegiate level? That's another conversation for now.
No,
did he win? I think J Train knows what I'm talking about. His guy Reggie Ball was a part of that whole fiasco. But you know, like I said, I think Pete Carroll, man, he's on his way out, and he's trying to. You know, a lot of times when coaches come back at that age, they're trying to feel if they still got it, right? Hopefully it's good for the Raiders, right? He can bring a little bit, breathe a fresh breath of air into the Raiders. Hopefully, you know, both from the draft, the free agency, that organization needed something. They needed a boost, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad they got Pete Carroll, even though I think he's spinning the wheels, he's on his way out. I'm glad they got him to kind of set it up for the next head coach to come in. And possibly build around what he's already established. I think he has a good 2 years with the Raiders, and hopefully he can bring his expertise and build that team back up to where they, you know, were at one point.
I mean, Kevin, what were your thoughts? Were you surprised about this? You know, we kind of heard the rumblings a little bit, but I honestly didn't see him coming to the Raiders. I thought he'd go to maybe Jacksonville or somewhere like that. But I mean, the Raiders, I don't know. Maybe I give teams too much personality. What were your thoughts?
I think, you know, I think Tom Brady gave him a gift for that Super Bowl that he gave him a couple years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was a good one.
Like that.
That was a good one. We taking shots at Pete Carroll.
But in all seriousness, though, I think it's a really good. I think it's a good hire. I mean, he like you say, he's a player coach. I think he'll relate to the young guys. I mean, he's more so a fun old head. He's like one of them old heads, like more of a fun type of old head. He's not Bill Belichick for sure. Wow. So I feel like he's gonna be pretty energetic, you know, at a spry young 73-year-old.
That's right. Yeah, spry.
Yeah, spry 73-year-old. So I think he's gonna be a pretty good fit for that organization. You know, try to bring that winning culture, and then whoever, you know, I guess they're gonna, you know, probably the next 2 or 3 years, if he don't, you know, feel like he want to keep doing it, he'll pass it down to whoever, and they can just keep the train moving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not only that, y'all, he's had a little break. You know, he should be rejuvenated. He had a couple of Christmases with his family. Mm-hmm. You know, did a couple little gum commercials. I mean, let me put it out. I'm kidding about that. So if anybody's out there trying to look up toothpaste or chewing gum commercials with Pete Carroll, I'm only kidding. Everybody that watches Pete knows he chews gum the entire game. Like, the only time I think I've not seen him with gum is during a press conference. And I think he probably was just in between switching out pieces or what have you. But congratulations to Pete Carroll. And you guys, I'm over here sharing this screen. I just realized how many groups I'm in. I'm just trying to, you know, get it out there so everybody can know we're all back. And I wish there was like a longer way for me to be able to do this before we came on. But nonetheless, I think I just saved it. Now, we got some more news, you guys. That Pete is not the only one that has landed a sorry, I was just looking at your comment, Kevin, about laundry, and I'm like, wait a minute, but you're here. Sorry. So he went and pulled that right out the hamper, y'all. Okay. got a little, little last game you won on there. Okay. You guys, let me tell you something that was shocking. Speaking of the Raiders, I didn't know that Rob Ryan, aka Santa Claus, that used to be with the Saints. That's the last time I saw him. I didn't know he was even behind the scenes as a senior defense analyst for the Raiders. And now he's taking a linebacking coach going to the University of Southern California. Any thoughts?
That's interesting. I think Rob Ryan has always been that kind of install type of guy, linebacker coach. I think the highest position he's ever held was a defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, J-Train. But he's that install guy. He's going to be a great linebacker coach, kind of a defensive tackle coach, kind of like that. And he's great to have on the team. I don't know how far, Rob Ryan is going to go. Furthermore, we've all kind of lost track of him, but I'm happy he's able to find a position on a team moving forward. I wish the best to Rob Ryan. I really do. I wish him the best. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. What are y'all thoughts on it?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't have much to say about Rob Ryan. I'm like you. I didn't even know he was still even around football. He was consulting. When I saw the news, I was like, "What? He was there?" And so, look, I wish him the best, like A Train just did, and do what you got to do, brother. Whatever it is.
He wasn't doing a lot of consulting.
So I understand.
Yes, like whatever.
He wasn't doing too much, right, y'all?
Right.
Well, looks like Robert Saleh is not going to be out so long. Now, he's not going back to a head coaching position, but he's returning to his home, back to the 49ers as a defensive coordinator. That's kind of huge. Your defense wins championships. So poop on you, Aaron Rodgers. You didn't get this man jobless long at all, and he was still getting paid by the Jets, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's go ahead, Kev. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he still is right now. Like to this day, like even next year, I think he's still gonna be getting paid.
Yeah, that's a good. I fear, and I'll be honest with you, I fear the 49ers next year and the years to come. They were succumbed by injury this year, and now they have a pretty decent draft pick. They're going to go into free agency and get some guys. They have a team, right? They was just they had the injury bug struck them early and hard. If the 49ers knock it out the park in free agency and in the draft, they're going to be a very scary team moving forward because they got all the pieces in place. The only piece I feel like will be questioned, and I know everybody, I got a buddy that has a 49er group, real cool guy. He always try to fight me on this, but I don't believe in Brock Purdy. I don't know if he's going to be that guy moving forward. I feel like he's more of a Jalen Hurts type of guy. You got to surround him around a lot of talent, and it makes him look that much better. But if I'm, being the coach of the 49ers, being who he is, Kyle Shanahan knows that. He's a brilliant mind. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make a splash. And when I say a splash in the draft. And when I say that, don't be surprised if they don't pick a quarterback. I'm going out on the edge. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised.
Well, they definitely need to make a splash. The only problem, because they're tied up with a whole bunch of players, man, money wise. I mean, and injured players. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk. You're looking at players and Deebo Samuels. These are guys that are like often injured, and they have high dollar contracts. And so, and then you got a guy like Trent Williams wants another contract, and he's the blind side to help keep Brock Purdy up, and he may not be there next season. And then of course, Kittle, he gets hurt too as well. But these are all star players that they need. And I get it. I mean, the Saints have had the same injury issues with their star players, man. It's just it sucks. Honestly, because you don't know what you're going to be like next year, and you're hoping everybody can stay healthy. But the bright side is what Sonya brought up, is that Robert Saleh is back for their defense, and they should probably be good on that end. And they probably, if I'm them, I draft somebody maybe like a defensive end. I think they could use that to be a bookend with Nick Bosa. And I like the kid Carter out of Penn State.
Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter would be a nice pair to go with that guy. And so I'm just not sure what they do. If I'm Robert Saleh, if I'm coming in, I want to make a splash there on defense. I think we got everybody in the offense. We're going to keep Brock Purdy. I like to make something on the defensive end, and I got my linebacker. I think we could use either a cornerback or we can use a defensive end.
True.
Yeah. And before we go a little further, want to definitely give a shout out to Linda and Mac, the great producers over there at Roku, the National Professional Sports Network, National Streaming Sports. I hope you both are doing well on this evening. Thank you for all that you do for this show and for promoting us. And we greatly hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday. Kevin, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan did it today. I mean, look what Greg Jennings, Debo Samuel, all these guys weren't first round draft pick. Like maybe Ayuk was probably the only guy, him and like Ricky Pearsall that they got. But if you look at it, I mean, Debo, Greg Jennings, George Kittle. I mean, none of these guys are first round draft. So you look in the later rounds of what they're gonna do really for those skills. I look for them to get a defensive type of guy. Maybe in the free agency, they might bring Sam Darnold back on the cheap, you know, especially even Brock Purdy. I mean, of course, because those two quarterbacks lost a lot of money this past season. So you can bring those two guys. I mean, bring them guys in on the cheap, and then next thing you know, you can just draft you a defensive player. You know, get you probably another bookend to go on the other side of Bosa. You already got I think they're gonna let go of Hargrave on the D line. You still got Fred Warner. I think Greenlaw he gonna be a year off the Achilles, so they're gonna be all right. I mean, they still got a solid defense. They might bring in a corner though, because I know that one corner, I think he had some personal issues with his daughter, I believe. So I don't know if he's gonna come back. If he might continue to still play football, or if he does come back and play, I don't know. If they're gonna go back and sign him or what. 49ers is going to be set, and then they're going to be playing the last place NFC schedule. I think they finished last in their division, so they're going to be playing the Carolina Panthers and the Giants.
Yeah. We play them. I will say this: I'm not sure if Debo Samuel is coming. Now you good. It's true. It's true. I'm not sure if Debo Samuel.
Don't loop me in with that. We won 5 games. Okay. Yeah. Don't loop me in with that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if Debo is going to be back next year, but they're going to need another wide receiver. I'm not going to be a homer, but I think Emeka Egbuka is going to be a really, really good
Me too.
Really good draft pick. And for the 49ers, he would fit in perfectly with that offense. I think Egbuka would fit in. When I say perfectly, he would fit perfectly in that offense.
Yeah, and Ricky Pearsall, he was coming on the last part of the season. He got shot, right before
he got shot.
Started.
Yeah.
So.
Well, since you brought up the Panthers, let me just go ahead and let the audience know this fact. CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young this season. Bryce really came into his own. Kevin, you're not allowed to do no rebuttal on what I'm about to say.
Okay, you got
to hold it because you're the one. I don't want you to say nothing of the stuff that you put. So, guys that's watching us at home, we have a group chat. And this is every day. We are either talking about somebody that got signed, got fired, anything that we want to talk about, we talk about it in the group chat, me and my brothers. Okay. It's usually about sports, but it's every day. It's round the clock. It could be 2:00 in the morning. Somebody getting a screenshot. I know I'm up sending them. Y'all keep sending them. It'd be shocking because I'd be like, I'm the only one up, and then I'll see a thumbs up on it. I'm like, dang, they still up too. So sometimes it's news. You're like, oh, I can't even wait to share this. I got to send this now because I don't want to forget to send this. So anyway, Kevin had shots fired considering those birds didn't even leave the ground. You know what I'm saying? They're like a grounded plane at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport here in Atlanta. Y'all that don't know. CJ Stroud versus Bryce this season. Everybody knows, except the Falcons hate on us no matter who we get as quarterback. We got Cam. He from Atlanta. Y'all hate us about that. We got somebody not from Atlanta. You hate us about that. Y'all just some hating birds. Y'all just some miserable birds. So anyway, CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young. The comparison this season, CJ, everybody knows, didn't play as well. I don't remember how many games the Texans won, but they won their division. Okay. Yeah. But they got in 17 games, CJ had 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. In 14 games, Bryce had 21 touchdowns, so less games, and only 9 interceptions. Okay. And he scored 27 on the Chiefs. Let's be clear, okay? And Bryce only scored 14 on the Chiefs. So Bryce Young this year has not looked young at all. He's looking very mature.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin. So you can say something other than what you said in the chat about Bryce.
I'll let you have it today.
Moving on. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. What a great co-host you are. So those are not the only coaching moves we got, guys. There's some more people that have gotten jobs. The Colts have reportedly dismissed Bengals defensive coordinator. That didn't take long at all. Lou Anarumo is going to be running the defense under Shane Steichen. So that's going to be interesting to see him at the Colts to see if he can do something with them. Let me ask y'all a question. Does Anthony Richardson come back to the Colts?
Of course. Yeah, he's under a rookie contract. He'll be back. And I think
he's fourth overall pick. There's no way he does not come back.
Y'all, they're losing, and he keeps getting injured though.
Mm-hmm. He got a new.
It's an investment. You got to play it out. Sorry, Kev. Go ahead.
I know you get. I'm just saying he gonna be with that. That coach that was working with Josh Allen's throwing motion. So I mean, he might come back next year and be solid. But I mean, the proof's gonna be in the pudding. I mean, he got to go out there and he got to put it together. End of the day. Go ahead.
It's gonna be some interesting. Not to control. It's gonna be some interesting moves. The team that I'm really looking at is the Vikings. Like, if you're in the Vikings position, you traded up to get J.J. McCarthy, right? Sam Darnold, yes, he had a bad playoff outing, but Sam Darnold played very well this year. So what do you do if you're the Vikings? Do you keep Darnold around? You let J.J. still recover? He's coming off an ACL. Do you let him take another year under him, or do you get rid of Darnold, let him explore free agency? What do you do? Because if I'm him, I'm still in my 20s. I want to go to a team that I feel like I'll have a good, I'll have a good run with, right? JJ ain't going nowhere. They traded up to get that guy, and they gave away some equity. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, shout out to you, Steve-O. He said Rodgers has zero to do with any firings. Let's be clear, y'all. And then J-Train, I see you poised to say something too. I'm going to be real brief. McCarthy was not supposed to be taken as high as he was. And then for him to already be injured already, he got boosted up because of the coach he played for. He was taking number 8 or 9 or something in the first round.
Yeah.
And so we haven't seen what he works with. You still have to acclimate to the league. I think they give Darnold at least one more year. They have to, because JJ's not ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah. So Darnold right now, he made himself some money, regardless of the last 2 games. Now, mind you, the last 2 games were 2 big games that really changed the trajectory of where they were in the playoffs. They could have beat Detroit. If they had they won that game, they would have the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Instead, they went to the 5th seed. And then, of course, they got beat by who was it?
The Rams.
The Rams, yeah, they got beat by the Rams, man. It's just, and Darnold looked shook both games. He looks like spooked. Like it got a little pressure in his face, and he even overthrew a running back in a flat. So I mean, that doesn't look good to the Vikings, but it looks good maybe to a team like the Raiders. Looks good to maybe a team like maybe the Browns. Somebody that needs a quarterback immediately, and they're willing to give some money to, because minimum, what does he make? 25 million, maybe 25, 30 million on the low end, because these guys are making 50 to 60 million dollars on the top end. And so I think if I'm the Vikings, I have leverage because of how he played at the end. Maybe you franchise him, and then of course you use him as a bridge quarterback, like Sonya said, for 1 more year, and then allow McCarthy to heal up and see what he can do the following season.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be guys like Darnold, and another guy who I'm hoping the Giants would spin the block on, who had a lot of time to cook, is Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields. I want to say Justin Fields is going to shock a lot of people when he gets with a team that's going to give him the weapons that he needs around him. If the Giants can go out, we got Malik Neighbors. We got some. I think we're going to let go of Darius Slayton coming up. But you got Wan'Dale Robinson. You got a young core. You draft another receiver. You get a guy like Justin Fields, bring him in. It makes me think that, do we really need to draft a quarterback in the first round, right? We can go and get a We can go and get an Abdul Carter to add to that defense, right? I'm not sure what we would do with Kayvon. Kayvon Thibodeau is still on a rookie contract, but he's had his bright spots and he had his non-bright spots. But if we beef that defense up a little bit, and then we go into the second round and say we take a guy out of Jackson Dart, or what's his name? I forgot his name. You get a guy like that in the second round. Me and Kev talked about this a lot, or you draft the kid out of Arizona, the wide receiver, to go opposite side of Malik. You go and get Justin Fields. You get creative with what you're doing, because right now everybody's putting so much stock in the Cam Ward Shador, and you got to understand, if you bring a player like that in, the fans, especially fans, when we've been losing for a while, they're going to be expecting instant results. That's putting a lot on those kids. So get a guy like Justin Fields, go and get an Abdul Carter, the kid out of Arizona, go into the second round, get a guy like Jackson Dart, and then you build your team up and you make your trajectory for the future a lot more brighter. And I'm being biased because I'm talking about my team, but other teams as well. Don't just think, everybody's so caught on the C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels. That may not happen this draft. It may not. So go out and build your team, build the trenches, build the support around them, and then it'll take us out of that. It'll remove us from that curse that we've been a part of for the last 10 to 15 years.
Well, I want to add, Sonya, there is a rumor mill that A-Train can still build around the trenches, that the Giants might be trying to take on Derek Carr.
I heard that. Hey, J-Train, I did hear that and my heart dropped. I tried to rationalize with it, and I said, oh, man, that's something we got to talk about, because I thought of J-Train immediately. I said, man, I'll be honest. I wanted to text him. I wanted to seem like I said, next time now I'm going to feel free to do it, but I was horrified by that, and I'm hoping that, I was horrified.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's funny you mention that, because Justin Fields has actually been linked to the Browns. And this is just this is what we saw last year with Caleb Williams and Justin Fields last year. Nobody knew where he was going to go. It was like, oh, he's unfollowing the Bears. Now he's following the Falcons. This is what happens, y'all. And this makes your offseason extremely longer, because we as fans are sitting there every week. Oh, he's going here. Oh, he's going here. And all it takes is like one media outlet to say, oh, we heard they're going there, and everybody jumps on it within minutes. And before you know it, this person is like, this is what they're doing, clicks and likes. That's what Oregon's coach said, clicks and likes. It applies to everything. Speaking of applies to everything, let me allow myself and the gentleman here to take this moment to thank Pink Fan Fur for our promos, our reels. She is the one that does all the background stuff that y'all don't see. She promotes. She's the hardest worker I know. That, like, every time I've talked to her every day this week, and she's always got the reels up in the background. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Well, today she even added AI of me and my first son, Lawson. So we're an AI now. So if you see the reel and you're like, that girl looks like Sonya, but that's not her, it's the AI version of me. And she's slim and cute too. So and she's got a little younger Lawsy with her. So shout out to you, Pink Fanfare. And of course, the backdrop here is by the one and only Football Talk with Bo Crouch, guys. He does all the decor as well. And Pink Fanfare does costume decor. So their email and contact information is at the bottom of the ticker going across the bottom. Give them a shout out when you can. I will let you talk briefly about this bogusness with Derek Carr, who in my opinion has run out of gas.
Hey, Sonya, real quick, I wanted to ask the fellas and you guys too. Do you think it's the end of the road for Deshaun Watson?
Absolutely. It's the end of the road in the NFL. Now, it might not be the end of the road with those lawsuits, but it's the end of the road in the NFL. That fake Cabbage Patch lookalike is on his way. OWT, not even OUT.
What you think, J Trey? Are we ending the road on the show?
Stefanski and them, when they did that press conference with him, and basically was like, no matter what, they stood on business. They're gonna, like, I'm gonna stand by him. Y'all remember that little meme? I'm gonna stand by him. That's what they did, and they look like idiots. I don't know if it's bad karma or what. He's either out there getting hurt or they're losing. They are garbage. They got Jameis Winston up there with his seafood behind, playing really good one time against the Ravens. That was their one glimmer of hope. Then back to the brown garbage bags they go.
What you guys think?
I think that Deshaun Watson has some serious bad luck having. I mean, it sort of reminds me of what's the kid's
color
name that
purple,
played
purple. When she said, "Until you do right by me." You do right by me.
No, what's the kid's name that played for Golden State and then went to the Mavs?
Oh, Clay
Thompson, yeah.
Yeah.
So he had bad luck with some injuries, back-to-back
Oh,
injuries, and
Lord.
he was never the same. And I think combined with the injuries and this lawsuit stuff that's going on, he's just not in the right head. But some team's going to give him a shot. If it's not with Cleveland, I guarantee you, some teams
Somebody's
still
gonna give him
won't.
a shot. Yeah.
I don't know who will do that. Kevin, do you think this man going somewhere else?
At this point, I mean, it's a lot of money still owed. So
yeah,
I mean, he's still gonna be there. I mean, either there he gonna probably, like you say, be in with another team. I just pray for the brother. I hope he finds the proper help and with the Achilles, because he re-injured the Achilles. Like they did surgery, and something happened, and he got to do it again. And with the Achilles,
that's devastating.
You talking to a Falcon fan who got a quarterback coming off an Achilles. It don't look, it just doesn't
y'all
look
paid him $1
too
billion
promising.
too, so
yeah, but it ain't 230. You know what I'm saying? 230 is just outrageous. And he's still a young guy, so maybe he could turn it around. But right now it's looking bleak.
Yeah.
Got to see what he look like coming out the fire, because right now he in a lot of fire, and I just hope he can come out of it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true.
So we'll see. He in a lot of fire. I mean, young brother. I mean,
there's some other quarterbacks coming out of the draft, I think, that people are not, really paying attention to. That I think the closer we get to the combine, you got my guy Will Howard, mobile quarterback, big, tall, strong. Not sure how close he's gonna get. I'm sure Jay said I'm being biased. Will Howard I think Will Howard is gonna be he's gonna be kind of one of those quarterbacks that nobody really pay attention to, right? I think he has a big arm. He's mobile. He's big. He reminds me of, and I know you guys may think this is a stretch. He reminds me of a smaller, not weight-wise, he reminds me of Big Ben kind of in the sense that's a little bit more mobile.
Really?
Yeah, he does. If you put a little bit more weight on him, he reminds me of that. And I'm looking at the schematics. I know Jay Trey get mad. He's a bigger guy, so I don't know. You got a guy like him. You got Jackson Dart. You got some quarterbacks that may be coming out that could go, let's just say under the radar. You know what I'm saying?
So Will Howard looks like Big Ben, huh?
He reminds me of
the T-Move version.
Possibly.
Definitely, yeah.
What's up, Killer P or Kill P says the Falcons should be set for a good season next year. Have good pieces around 20. Just draft well and do decent. Okay, that means that the only thing this is that's Kevin to put his own comment on.
Let's talk about
Kevin. That's who Kevin is.
You got a burner
Let's talk about it.
This ain't no real person.
That's a burner.
Kevin sat up there and typed this comment.
Hey, let me know. Hey, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
No, can we not? Give us. You said you didn't want to talk no Falcon stuff. Let me get through these hirings and then I'll give the birds some time. We are not pressed. We are not pressed to talk about that. Give me 1 second, Kevin. Let's just talk about some hirings. We'll give you the last 2 minutes. I'm gonna tell you, like my teachers used to tell me when I was in 6th grade and I was always telling jokes and stuff. There was like, if you just hold your jokes and just don't talk to the last, we'll give you the last 5 minutes, because they told my grandma they couldn't control their class once I started telling jokes because the class was just being an uproar. So anyway, shout out to all those teachers that I'm still Facebook friends with. Love y'all. Mean it. All right. So these were the people that we found. Ben Johnson got hired by the Bears. He was the Lions offensive coordinator. We knew he was going to be snatched up fast. Vance Joseph, Broncos defensive coordinator. He's already gone somewhere. Robert Sella. Aaron Glenn, hired by the Jets, guys. Yeah. Very, very good. Ron Rivera, was supposed to be interviewing somewhere. I don't know. They haven't marked out. I don't know. Did he go anywhere? Do y'all know?
Not yet.
I don't think. Yeah.
Okay, Pete Carroll, now hired today by the Raiders. What was not completed was Todd Monken, Ravens offensive coordinator, was up for some interviews, has not completed anything yet. And Steve Spagnuolo from the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator. Jacksonville is going to be hiring Liam Cohen. They're finalizing the deal now to become the head coach of the Jaguars. This is according to insider Jonathan Jones. He served as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator and basically pulled himself out of contention for the Jaguars job on Wednesday to stay with the NFC South champions. This is what the article said. I didn't say they were champions, Kevin. But things changed after the Jaguars fired their general manager, Trent Balk, and then Jones reported Thursday that Jacksonville circled back to him and offered him the job after the dismissal of the general manager. So here are some other candidates that the Jaguars had basically interviewed all these other people, but I guess there was something going on with the general manager. Now he's actually going to be going back. I do want to say, and of course, we talked about the Bears hiring Ben Johnson. I do want to say, guys, there's a lot of people still out there looking around, but New England, also since the last time we were on hired Mike Vrabel, we talked about that a little bit on Sunday. They cost themselves the number 1 overall pick in the draft in the process. Y'all, let me be honest with y'all. I didn't know you give up draft picks for coaches.
No, it's just because the Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo won that game.
Yeah, he won the game, and he ruined it for him.
He won that game. Yeah, it cost him that pick.
Yeah. I got you. And then, okay, that's why I was wondering. I thought that's what they were talking about, but I was like, what? So I had to ask y'all. Y'all the experts.
I'm sorry.
Let me go to Gerard Mayo won that last game and messed up. Yeah, and messed up the
number 1 pick.
What number are they now?
Like 2, like 3,
2 or 3, because Vegas is 1.
I want to say that. Giants are 3. I want to say they're 4 or 5, something like that.
Okay, that matters.
Yeah, like 4
no worries.
or 5.
And so, like New Orleans, of course, still looking for a head coach. Dallas still looking for a head coach. General managers. Las Vegas just hired John Spike, and so he's gonna be down there. Pete Carroll, and the Titans hired Mike Borgonzi for their general manager. Let me ask y'all a question. Jacksonville is looking for a general manager, and the Jets are too. With these championship teams, especially with the Lions, who made a solid playoff run for the second year, that's big that they no longer have their offensive coordinator. That's big going into the next season. Because how can you even reconcile the fact that they would be a playoff team for a third time in a row? Sorry.
That is very big, and I was gonna actually talk about that, Sonya. The Lions. I think they'll regress next year. You're taking away the things that they were very familiar with, coaching staff wise, and they just I don't know what it is. They just fall apart in the playoffs, man, and that takes a lot out of you. It really does. I would say if any team, and I'll talk about J-Train's team, New Orleans, and God forbid Dallas. I would say if I'm those 2 organizations, and I say God forbid Dallas, I would go hard on getting Spagnuolo. I think Spags, he's proven himself with us twice. He's proven himself in Kansas City, but they were both as defensive coordinators. If you give a guy like that, kind of like what the coach in Washington is, you give a guy like that a head coaching position, and he can get in there and change that Dallas team, that New Orleans team around. I really think Spags is going to be that guy. I would be heavy on trying to pursue him, big time.
And well, I want to up to you, Pink Fan First. She says Friday Live in 2025. What up, fellas? And the Pretty Lady Sports. Thank you, Pink. We just gave you a shout out. And of course, she says keep pounding. Once you wrap up your comment, J-Train, I will allow Kevin to double back because he keeps typing these comments under this fake account.
That's burner account. He's just going to town.
Yeah, that's his burner. That's his burner.
He's not even looking at the screen. It's everything he want to try to bring up. But go ahead, J-Train. What was your comment?
So I want to backtrack to what A-Train was saying about Detroit. Look, losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn is a tough thing. Now, what you said about them in the playoffs, I think the biggest thing about them losing in the playoffs was having a significant amount of their defense on IR. I think that hurt them a lot. And because Ben Johnson was the engine that drove that offense. I mean, they scored 33.1 points per game. They led the NFL in points. And not only that, you just look at the style in which they did it too. That offense, they had all those weapons. They were able to get all those draft picks when they traded Matt Stafford away. You got Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, the Sonic and Knuckles with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's now a superstar. I mean, you could look at him and he's a superstar now. And also David Montgomery, the ground and pound guys, man. They just a beast, but I don't know what they're gonna do. I think what they need to do, if there's somebody that was under Ben Johnson that's still in the building, they probably need to hire them from within to keep that continuity there within that offense, because the scheme is, you got all the talent there, but how do you direct them? How do you drive them? I think it's somebody that's got to be within the building that they keep. Defensively, I think if they get their players back, I think you can get somebody to come in and help, the defense. But man, this is just going to be tough for them, like A-Train said. But I like, on the flip side, Ben Johnson going to Chicago. I love him because he has weapons there. It's a ready-made team. He knew what he was doing when he went there. And not only that, he's going within the division. So he wants to go back and stick it to the Lions and stick it in the division and show that he can do it with Caleb Williams. And I heard him speaking to Stephen A. Smith, and he said, we want to do everything, including build around him, meaning build an offensive line, take the guys that you already have in Roma Dunze and DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift and Cole Kmet, and add a few more players around him. And I think that offense is, with Ben Johnson there at the helm, to me, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Sean Payton. He reminds me of Sean Payton. He's an offensive coordinator first, and he's an offensive coach. Because you can take offensive coordinator and change him out, but if you got somebody that's an offensive mind as the head coach, man, I think the sky's the limit for them, especially having a young quarterback, don't really know much of anything about the NFL yet. He can mold him. Caleb, man, super talented.
Man, yeah, very
for Chicago. I think they're gonna be up next season.
They are. They got the team around them. I thought they were going to be on the up this year, but they just need a leader, and that's the only thing that Chicago's missing. You're right.
I do want to interject here, guys. We're going to go a little past 10 o'clock tonight because it's just so much to talk about. And guys, this is our inaugural 2025 live that we're all together. So we'll be on here for just a tad more. It's Friday. Nobody should be talking about going to work tomorrow except Kevin, our nurse extraordinaire. Kevin, are you working tonight, brother?
No, I work tomorrow night, though.
Okay. You'll have time enough to, slumber. We probably won't go maybe 15 minutes over, but just letting our audience know, because we got a lot of people just coming on. We want to make sure you're still able to participate with us. So let me pause right now and go ahead and do the Huddle Sports Network commercial so that we make sure we get that in within this hour. Myself, Kevin, J-Train, and Fern will be right back.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Hi guys, I'm back. We're back.
I like that.
Fern, Kevin, and J-Train with his nice artwork, Sonic
and Knuckles. I like that.
Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles, and this is Friday with the fellas. Let's do it
Nice.
all together, y'all. Let's wait for J Train to sit down. We want to do one
I
big
like that,
unit.
J-Train. Yeah,
that was dope.
J Train, that's really
that was
nice.
dope. That was
So
dope.
I am Sonya, and we are Friday with
With the
fellas.
fellas.
We got it. I think that Vic shirt was throwing me off. I felt a little nauseousness for a second. All right, guys.
Little dirty man, you know. You know what I'm saying?
I think I see some dog prints on it.
I feel you. Yeah.
No, just kidding. Actually, Mike Vick and Tony Gonzalez are like my favorite Falcons. So let me go old school for a minute and at least give them shout outs because Mike Vick was a heck of a quarterback. And even when he went to the Eagles, you know, I'm glad they gave him an opportunity. Everybody has their own dark day, but it's just a paragraph out of a chapter of the book of life. So it's a small dot. All right. So Peak Fanfare is congratulating the Ohio State CFP. We want to definitely make sure we have time to talk about that Fern in just a minute because I'm going to definitely give you your due. This is your first time gracing us with your presence after such an award-winning championship game. And we want to give you an opportunity to brag and, you know, just gloat and be excited and talk about your biggest moments of that game. And we'll get there shortly, okay? So if you just put a ping in that, you can put a ping there like they do on iPhone. All right, guys. So we were talking about how these teams that are moving around, I just don't see. I like the point you made, J Train, about bringing somebody that's already there, that's already familiar with the dynamics of the organization. Because when you've gone to the playoffs back to back, it's going to be extremely difficult for a third time. I mean, unless you're the Chiefs who have the refs on their side. Let's talk about that for a minute. There's a lot of banter, a lot of social media stuff about the Chiefs and their luck or lack thereof of luck. Are they really just that good? We got some playoff games coming up this weekend. These are the divisional championship games, AFC versus NFC. First things first, Fern, I'm going to start with you because two teams out of your division one of them will definitely be the NFC champion. There's no way around it. Two of the teams out of the 4 teams in the NFC East are playing against each other for the NFC championship. First of all, your thoughts as a fan, the fact that they're both there.
It hurts. You know, you watching Saquon do what he's doing. It hurts. It burns. And I know Jay Tritt and Carol, they got die at me. They warned me about this, you know, but, you know, to sit there and watch, you know, all of the things that Saquon is doing. I know me and Kev talked about what Jalen Hurts is to that team versus what they put around him, right? That Eagles team, they put such a plethora of talent around, and it's like perfect fitting, right? From the offensive line, the defensive front. You know, it reminds me of kind of Jalen Hurts, and I may overdo it here, but he reminds me a little bit of Brad Johnson. I don't know if you guys remember Brad when Tampa won that Super Bowl against the Raiders that year. Brad wasn't really. They just had so much talent around him. You know, with Keyshawn Johnson, you know, Mike Allstott. They just had that much talent around him.
Michael Pittman.
I would say this. I think the Commanders are going to be a very dangerous team, and I'll tell you why. They have nothing to lose, and they're coming in and playing like they have nothing to lose. If Philly doesn't win this game, it's going to look everything that they have done, I think, with the Saquon move and, you know, every 2 seconds is, you know, thank you, New York, thank you, New York. They're going to have pie in their face because
he's been saying
Washington,
that. Thank you, New York.
Yeah, they got billboards and all that thing. You know, I got you. You're
welcome.
You're
and
welcome.
you guys are close geographically too, so y'all
yeah, we
that
are.
all over 95.
They're in South Jersey, so it's like, you know, you're welcome. You know, you know, but if they don't win this game and Washington comes in there and shocks them, it's going to be all for nothing because, boy, we are going to light them up. I'll tell you that much. But I think, you know, to be just all real, it's tough to watch, but I'm happy the NFC East is making a stride like that. I'm happy for Jaden Daniels. You know, he's a stud. You know, I know he ain't shaking his head because I was a big, you know, I was on my boy Marvin Harrison Jr. and he got now Malik Neighbors and But
At least,
I got to deal with
it
that.
ain't Dallas. At least it ain't Dallas.
At least it ain't Dallas. And
I think the whole world could agree to that.
We can agree to that. At least Dallas is not there. I'm happy for Jaden Daniels. Man, he throws the ball well. He's mobile. he can do everything. And again, the Commanders put the right team around him. They didn't just go out and get Jaden Daniels. They added to that team on both the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. So it's going to be an interesting day on Sunday. I'm riding with the Commanders.
Yes, sir. Now I agree with you on that. I'll hold mine for the next J-Train. I see you almost out the screen. You ready to say something? leaning in. J-Train, what's your thought?
All right, so look.
There you go.
LSU produces some of the best players. I think we mentioned 4 of those wide receivers that are in the top 7 this year in yards and receptions. 2 of them played. One plays for Cincinnati. One plays for Minnesota. One plays for New York. Yeah, I think you know. Another plays for Jacksonville. And wide receiver you. Ooh. All right. So and the quarterbacks, 2 Heisman Trophy quarterbacks are doing their things right now. With that said, at the beginning of the season, I selected my Super Bowl picks. That was Kansas City versus the Eagles. And I have to stick with that. And I'm going to say, as much as I want Jaden Daniels, this magical ride that he wants to keep going on, I would love to see him win and beat the Eagles. I just don't see it happen. The Washington Commanders, I was about to say the Redskins, Washington Commanders, although they drubbed the Detroit Lions last week, you know how many yards they gave up for rushing? 200.
A lot.
They gave up 200 to Knuckles and Sonic. What are they going to give up to the best offensive line and Saquon Barkley? And now the caveat is that Jalen Hurts hurt himself in that last game. So he's got to wear a brace on it for his knee. He hurt himself. So it'd be interesting to see how he plays in this game. But they're at home, and they're ranked 30th against the run. Washington, they're 30th against the run. Saquon Barkley just coming off a 205-yard game with 2 touchdowns in the snow. If it doesn't even snow, I'm just scared for what they're going to do now. Is Jaden Daniels – remember, you guys used to tease me about Jaden Daniels getting held up by Jalen Carter. He might hold him up again. So I don't know. I hope Jaden Daniels will get hurt. I hope he still. I mean, he was accurate. This dude got 567 total yards, 4 TDs, no interceptions, 116 passer rating in the playoffs in the past 2 games. So he's lighting it up. I hope he continues lighting it up.
Jaden, yes, sir. You better stand on business with Jaden. And speaking of standing on business, real quick, what's up, Bo? Football Talk with Bo. We gave him a shout out earlier. He just joined us as well out there on the west side, out there in what is it, Seattle? What is the state? Washington. Everybody wants to say Seattle. They never say Washington. He's out there in Washington, guys. Kevin, what's your thoughts? I see you over there. And we got to come back to your comments that you made in the chat too. So don't let me.
Hey guys, we got some breaking news before Kevin talk. Brian Schottenheimer just got hired by the Cowboys. Yeah.
Who did? Brian Flores?
No.
Schottenheimer.
Oh, as the head coach.
That's the head coach of the Cowboys.
Offensive coordinator, I think.
Yeah.
He was the Cowboys offensive coordinator, I believe.
So they hired within.
Right. That ain't even. That's
talking about it.
I'm not even impressed. That's just even more prone to lose. You bringing your offensive coordinator that's already been losing to your head coach position. Yeah, Jerry made that decision. Kevin, thank you guys for the breaking news. That's what we do, y'all. We prim in what? Proper sports. The guys are proper, and I'm prim. Yeah, guys. So I mean, it's just one of those things. Congratulations to Mr. Sharphire, whatever you say his name. Bo just said Commanders have the 30th ranked run defense. They're about to have a long day. Yeah, that's cool and everything. And exactly, Bo. They're definitely trying to lose. That's why I was like, Jerry made that decision. Kevin, what's your thought, on this Eagles and Commanders game?
When I sit back and look at it, they're the 30th ranked, rushing defense, but when I look at it, Jalen Hurts really hasn't been throwing the ball like that. He hasn't really been good throwing the ball. So what you think they finna do? I think they finna load that box up pretty good and say, hey, Jalen, beat us with your arm. And I think that's what's going to brought in Marshawn Lattimore. Thank you for getting him out of the division. And so he's going to be locked up with A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, I don't know, the little rookie corner is going to be guarding him, so I don't know how that's going to look on that side of the ball. But I look for them to load that box up, say, hey, if we lose, over the top, we lose over the top. It's going to be cold, so it's going to be tough to throw. Dante Fowler, are they going to be able to get home? Are they going to be able to get to Jalen Hurts like they were getting to Jared Goff last week? Because that was what they was doing. They was just getting to Jared Goff. They just said, okay, y'all running the football. As soon as y'all don't run the football, we're going to get to your quarterback.
Yep.
Is your quarterback going to make that throw? Jared Goff threw a pick six, So I just look to see they're going to load that box up. What are they going to do? Are they going to, like I said, are they going to just keep trying to trust the run? Because one thing we do know, Washington going to put up points. What's that coach? The Cliff Kingsbury, he can call some offense. That's what.
Yeah, he can. He will. Yep.
He may have a job somewhere. I mean, he may be staying where he's at.
Yeah, he might stay where he's at. Because the only job that's open, I don't know if he want to go there.
Oh damn!
I don't know if he want to endure that.
We have the thing right now. Would you mention it? The Saints are waiting. A lot of people think that they're not the desirable place to be, but the Saints are waiting. They have people in line that that they're looking to interview. Mike McCarthy is one.
Okay.
Cliff Kingsbury might be one, but you got to wait till you either lose or get to the Super Bowl and go for and try to get him then. But there's no other teams to even try to hire him. So we're in a good situation right now to pick.
What makes New Orleans the destination spot? I just want to know. Personally.
Because there's nobody else.
Huh?
Because there's nobody else.
But what makes you know what? Let's pack the family up. Let's go to New Orleans and let's start with this franchise right here. What makes
the food? Have you had New Orleans food? It's the best.
That's one thing, but hold on, man. Cliff Kingsbury. What if Cliff Kingsbury does come down and the way he runs the offense? They get rid of Carr. They got Spencer Rattler, Chris Olave coming off injury, Rashid Shaheed coming off injury, Alvin Kamara. Those are the players that he wants for his type of offense.
I feel, but who's
kind of like what he did in Arizona? He loves those type of players.
Yes, absolutely.
Who's the quarterback?
Don't sleep on Spencer Rattler, homie. I think he's going to be the dude that, they would be putting on rumors out there by sending Carr to New York. Shout out Giants. Take him.
You said don't sleep on Spencer Rattler? I'm in the coma.
Yes. Don't sleep on him.
I'm in the coma.
Only a 28% chance of winning is what the projection is for the Commanders and Eagles game. But you mentioned it, J Train. Hurts is not his healthiest. I mean, I don't think anybody is this time of the season. And when you're going into the playoffs, most of the time, a lot of players are injured and they're playing through these injuries. At the most, those injuries are intensified this late in the game, because this late in the season, postseason, because you're playing to get into the postseason. Then you luckily get in the postseason. Now you got to muster up this strength and this stamina to continue to press on for just a couple of more weeks. Jalen Hurts already has had a concussion, has had a finger injury, now his knee. He's banged up all around, and that's just because of the playoffs. It's a different type of animal. You play the best of the best. You spoken of Jaden Daniels, no interceptions as of yet. He's youthful. He's got youth on his side. My only downfall would be Breadman, Mr. Carter from the Eagles. He is a dominator on the field. To come in as a rookie and take over that defensive line is insane, especially after Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey both retired during the offseason. Everybody thought that was going to be the end of the defense. And in fact, it has intensified by that sole rookie coming in and taking over the Georgia native, the UGA, the dog, Jalen
The Jingles.
Carter. So he's a jingle. The Eagles have a lot of UGA people on their roster. They have a lot of them up there. Kevin, I saw your paw go up. You wanted to interview?
I just like, in all honesty, I'm gonna say something positive about this thing. I hope they have a decent year next year. You wanna know why? I don't want Arch Manning down there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't want Arch Manning. We don't want Arch Manning in New Orleans.
We don't even know what Arch Manning is even going to be because you haven't seen him play yet.
That was it. I know we don't know what he's gonna be, but we know what he's gonna. But we all know what he's gonna be. Let's be honest. He's a man, so we all know what he's gonna be.
The pedigree matches the refs being paid. I mean, that's a sore thing for me with the Manning family. I don't even watch them when they're doing their ESPN dialogue. I don't watch the debating Manning commercials, none of that, because I know we were robbed. Okay, I'm wearing my Newton jersey tonight. I was wearing it that night when we were robbed. Okay, the same night I was wearing the same jersey when we were robbed. Okay, so anyway, in honor of my
sis, you gotta tell Cam to fall on the fumble.
Yeah, he didn't fall on the fumble, but again, we were robbed. Okay, J-Train, you know what it's like to be robbed. Y'all sent out a whole petition about
that was legit. That was legit. Somebody literally knocked somebody and did a helicopter.
I got kicked out of a social media group because I told them that they should stop sending petitions around and get everybody to sign to get them to be in the Super Bowl. And
you look clean to me.
It sure was. I got kicked out though because of an emoji I put in the group chat. I mean, in the group about their Super Bowl ring. So yeah, as soon as I put it, it was like a little world. Y'all know what it was.
Let me put a disclaimer out there. I had nothing to do with those. I had nothing to do with those posts that people putting up on billboards. Look, I'm all about. If we didn't win, I was mad. A-Train, no, I was ticked.
Yeah, he was ticked.
I was hot, but I got over it. When I heard they were doing that on the billboard, I was like, "Oh, this is why I live in Atlanta."
That's what I really was like, how would y'all feel if y'all went to Charlotte, in the home of the Panthers, another NFC division, and y'all saw signs about, or how about the Panthers came down and put billboards all over y'all stuff in New Orleans, and we were robbed, and it's y'all in the Super Bowl. Like, what? Come on, y'all. We're still in the same division, All right, guys. So let me plug in about this percentage of Jalen Hurts. I was telling you guys that he, Hurts has been hurt, no pun intended. I'm going with the Commanders for the upset because if Jaden Daniels gets to the Super Bowl, he will be the first rookie to do so. I'm all for that. His mama put a clip out today or a couple of days ago. They were like, "What do you fear about, your son being in the NFL?" She said, "Just the girls." She knows there's some girls at home right now trying to get their claws into her son. And she said she know they got a whole wall full of Jaden Daniels posters. So I hope that his mama is right and that little girl or that young lady who is out there as a Daniels fan has even more reason to put more posters up after this weekend. Let's move on to the next game, the AFC game, because we got to make sure we got time to go back and address these comments that Kevin put up on his burner account about the Falcons. We're going to give them some due diligence. AFC matchup, guys. This is one, the Chiefs once again. I need Josh Allen to stand all the way up on this one. I'll start with you, Kevin, since I haven't started with you because you've been busy typing all night in the chat. What are your thoughts on this Bills and Chiefs game? Can the Chiefs finally be eliminated? I mean, they've had some close games all season with some not so good teams.
I mean, we talked a little bit about this on Sunday. We all know the Chiefs are the better team. Let's be honest here. They got more talent. It's all about the turnovers. Will the Bills turn the Chiefs over? That's the key to the game. Turnovers beat talent. So if the Bills can turn the Chiefs over enough, they will win this game. If they don't call too many penalties, they will win this game. But the number one thing is they got to stop 15. They got to do their best to stop 15. They got to do their best. I mean, they got to get to them. They gotta exploit Kansas City's weakness, and that's those tackles on each side. They gotta get to Patrick Mahomes. That's the number one thing. And then they wide receivers is decent. Hopkins. They got the little rookie wide receiver, Xavier Worthy. Kelsey's still Kelsey. You know, he ain't the same. You know, I'm just wondering how many times we gonna see Taylor Swift, because
I'm so sick. Every time he makes a play, they gotta show her. I'm like, for what?
You know, and
why is her reaction so important? This is ridiculous.
And then when Kayla Clark was in the booth with her, it was even more nauseating.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I was like, I don't need to see the reactions. Like, come on, this is for her fans. This is what's driving the ratings up. J Train, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, the Bills Mafia, they're clamoring. It's been since '93 since they last been to a Super Bowl, and they're probably still devastated. You talk about billboards in New Orleans for not getting to the Super Bowl. Try going to 4 straight and losing in devastating fashion, and not being able to get back, and having like one of the best teams ever. I was young. I was in my teens. We're the same age, so that I was 15 when they first went to the Super Bowl. And then, 18 and 93 when they went to their last one. And man, their closest one was against New York, the Giants.
Yeah,
They probably could have won that one. They missed the field goal. They lost, and the rest of them, they just obliterated. One by Washington, 2 by Dallas. They want to get there. And this is a team that could possibly get there. I mean, Josh Allen, MVP caliber. James Cook is a underrated running back behind him. They got a couple other backs playing wide receiver out of backfield. I like Keon Coleman. Underrated defense too. I like the old man on the end, and Miller still showing some signs of life on that end. I just think that it's the pressure. The pressure of trying to get over that hump and get there to the Super Bowl as Buffalo, the team of destiny, the team trying to get over, trying to right the ship of where they were wrong, in the last years, and going against that monster in the media, not Kansas City, but the Kansas City media, the referees, everything is just really up against Buffalo. And I just think that Buffalo is probably that Kansas City is probably going to get the Super Bowl again. I picked them because of that in the beginning, not because of Mahomes, like Kevin said, 15. Whether he runs out of bounds, like pretends like he's going to run out of bounds and stays in for another 30 yards, or he gets the calls when he gets hit or not get hit, and still does some great things offensively, even though he's not putting up the gaudy numbers that he's done when Tyreek Hill was there. He still finds ways to win, and they're probably going to find another way to win this game and get to the Super Bowl again.
Fern.
We talk about the Chiefs and the refs, right? We talk about that all the time. Teams got to play all 4 quarters. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, you may not get a call your way, and of course it's going to be magnified because it's the Chiefs, and we know they're used to winning. But I've seen teams break down after calls that didn't go their way, and a lot of these calls happen in the middle of the third, end of the third quarter. You got to finish the game. And if Buffalo doesn't play all 4 quarters and they let that get in their head where the refs were playing against, we knew we were playing against the refs. I heard a bunch of Texans fans say, players saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, we understand that. We know the refs are not on you guys' side. They're going to protect 15. We got it. You guys are going to have to execute, and you have to play all 4 quarters. You cannot let that get in your head, because at the end of the day, most teams fall apart. They let Travis Kelce, old man Travis Kelce, I don't know if he's moving 1 to 2 miles up the field on a
wide open,
just wide open. Like, how do you let that happen? Like, seriously.
How do you let it happen when Patrick
How do you let that happen?
Patrick Mahomes, he's falling down and he's still. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they let those things happen and then they blame the refs. No, you guys, but most teams, they psychologically, the Chiefs will psychologically break you down. And Andy Reid knows what he's doing. Especially Andy Reid, they just keep chopping wood. So,
but I have a rebuttal to that. I have a rebuttal into that Houston game.
Exactly. I know you come from, and I'll say this to end it so we get to that rebuttal. Play all 4 quarters. Play tough. Play all 4 quarters. Don't let the refs, don't let anything in your head. There's going to be calls that's not going to go your way, but don't make those critical errors that are going to cost you 1 to 2 points off the scoreboard, 3 points off the scoreboard, and that's going to be the determining factor of the game. Chiefs are not blowing teams out. They win about 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Make those critical errors because those are going to count. Now, go ahead, rebuttal.
Well, look, on that game against Houston, Houston was down by 1 point. Mm-hmm. 2 of those calls were on third downs. Those 2 calls were on critical third downs, and it swayed 10 points with those calls. 10 points. That changed. I don't care how much you're trying to stay in the game. That changes a huge trajectory change, momentum shift in the game, and it's deflating.
Clay Martin is the referee every darn time. Yes, Kevin.
They got to stop him now.
Why were they down 1 point? They missed a extra point.
Yeah, they did.
They missed 3 or 4.
2 or 3 of them.
Got 1 block.
Well, you can't count on your kickers.
But those are the errors. Those are the errors you got to correct. Yep.
Those are the errors you have to get. Yep. You got to go and beat Kansas City. I understand. Don't get me wrong. Penalties was outrageous.
Yes.
Because even there was a penalty, on one of the kicks where my man was offsides. They didn't call it. But the thing was, it didn't even make sense how right it went.
No.
So the kicker, he got to make those kicks end of the day.
Yeah, he does. We can't make you. Yeah.
Matter of fact, here's a perfect example. When the Falcons played the Saints, look how many kicks we missed. You remember? Young Way Cool. We should have won that game.
Yeah.
We didn't. You want to know why?
Ran out of sesame chicken back there.
Yeah. He missed those kicks. You got to play all 4 quarters. You got to play.
You gotta have those meals set up for him before the game. Y'all cannot go in there and give him no dried out sesame chicken from yesterday.
You got
his name was No Way Kick that night. No Way Kick.
No way kick.
He was Young Ho that night. Young Ho, which is what
you got to play as perfect football as you can against Kansas City, and you cannot make those mental and critical errors that's going to cost you later on. You miss a field goal against Kansas City. I don't care if it was at the end of the second quarter. You're going to pay for it. So make the right choices.
But that comes from the Falcons relying on Young Way. Some of them games, he was the only scorer. Y'all, his leg looked like a propeller when he came out of there. He was kicking so much. There was a couple of games that he was the only scorer. And so when you depend on your kicker that much, he's gonna get hurt because he think he's gonna come in there for a couple extra points. Not every down he's kicking a field goal.
It sounds good.
Speaking of, I do want to add, this is going to be epic AFC and NFC championship because both of those matchups have a team that has not been there in 30 years. So that is significant. You got the Bills who have not been there in 30 years, and you got the Commanders who have never even advanced as far since 93. I think they were in the division or something, but both of those teams
92,
Yep, and the Eagles won within the last 5 years, and then you got Lord, I'm having brain freeze. The Chiefs, of course, from last year. So I feel I'm against the 3-peat. I'm going for a Bills and Commanders Super Bowl. If the Eagles advance, I'm going for the Bills to take it all. If the Commanders advance, I'm going for the Commanders to beat the Chiefs. That's what I'm going with. Now, speaking of bad mistakes and the fact that everybody has to play all 4 quarters, honey, the Bills Mafia is donating money to Mark Andrews charity, honey, because, honey, he's been getting death threats from, Bills, he was getting death threats from Ravens fans. He had 2 miscues, and the Bills started receiving against the Bills when he was playing, and he started getting death threats. So now Bills Mafia is like, you know what? We're going to give you some money to your charity. Hopefully that overrides the fact that you threw this game. So, Mark Andrews, we are so sorry. We are glad we're not on the receiving end of that. Those Northeasterner teams are nothing to mess with. I mean, Philly, the Eagles. I don't know if the Jets are that bad because they already bad naturally, but the rest of them. Let's go back to this one comment. I do want to allow Kevin's comment that he created this bogus account. He talked about loving Bijan, but before that, the Falcons should be set for a good season next year, and they have good pieces around Penix. Just draft well and do decent in the free agency. So let me let you know, first of all, I know Kevin wrote that comment because he put FA in the bottom, and that's a Kevin thing. He uses acronyms. I had to think about what it meant. But let's talk about that for a minute. Is Penix really the answer. I mean, I wasn't that impressed. I was impressed with the defense. Don't get it twisted just because they won a game with him, y'all.
Oh,
Penix is the answer.
He's the answer. I mean,
he's the answer.
He proved that, hey, I'm going to be the guy going forward. So
yeah,
I'm totally confident in Michael Penix. When it comes to the draft picks, I look at, a lot of these defensive players. This is a more defensive heavy draft than it was the previous year. So I look at us getting an edge, also getting somebody maybe even in the interior. We run a 3-4. So I look for us to get some bulk in that defensive line. I don't know if Grady is going to come back. I hope he does, but if he doesn't, I mean, I hope we just get somebody solid in that middle. Maybe that Hargrave. Like I said, the 49ers are probably going to get rid of him. So I'm looking at guys like that, the big, nice plugger, run stopper, maybe get a middle linebacker, Isaiah Simmons, maybe from the Giants, so we can
plug in the
middle next to
Kevin.
Well, I do want to plug this in. This actually came out as an article about how UGA, the team here, that Falcons, recent success for Georgia, including multiple national championships and SEC championships, makes watching a below average NFL team even more difficult. But the reality is the Georgia Falcons have not, matched the two teams, the Falcons and the Georgia team. Why hasn't Atlanta drafted more players right here from home after witnessing the greatness of the Dogs?
To be honest, I don't really know. We did draft a Georgia player last year. His last name was Rogue, I believe. He's a defensive lineman. So we draft guys from Georgia. We just don't draft high. Brought in Lorenzo Carter. He went to Georgia. So I mean, we just don't draft Georgia players high. But I mean, we just focus mostly on offense. Like I said, Michael Penix, I feel like he was the last infinity stone per se to what we were trying to complete on offense. I mean, now we just need, like I said, we need to just focus on defense and, focus on getting the nice pieces on that defensive line. Maybe even, like I said, even the second level at linebacker and, filling out the rest of this, I mean,
that's pretty strong that you're saying Infinity Stone, because Kevin, I'm trying to remember. So I've been on the network a little over a year. I'm trying to remember when we had our first Friday with the fellas. It started out with me and Fern. We did Friday, just me and Fern, like for so long. I got to go back to our epic introduction, but I do remember, this is like deja vu for me right now, because I remember having a similar conversation, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, where Kevin was so thrilled about, Kirk Cousins coming, and I heard the same words, he's the answer. We're going to take over the South. I mean, it's great to have that type of camaraderie with your team. But now, I think you may have even given the Infinity Stone analogy. That's what got me.
Yeah, but I always knew, like, hey, we were probably going to go after a quarterback in this draft. Now, I always had that in my mind. Like, I know we paid Kirk Cousins all this money, but really it's a 2-year, $100 million deal, in all honesty, because after the $100 million, it's 4-year, $180 million. The $80 million is not guaranteed, but the $100 million is. They already gave him $50.
Well, they got to get rid of him before like March 11th, or they're going to owe him that other money
too.
They're going
to owe him $10 million. He might go. He might not. I mean, Terry Fontenot might be like, hey, we might just keep you as a backup. I mean, it is what it is. $10 million. Arthur Blank made that yesterday. So let's all be honest here. I think if we do let Kirk Cousins go, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think that's
that
look
much
good.
of a detriment, to the team. I mean, we still, like I said, we don't have I don't feel like we're that much away from winning the division. To be honest, we were pretty much one game from winning the division. Like I said, you get a defensive piece, couple of defensive pieces in here. I think we're gonna be solid. I mean, I think we're gonna be all right.
And of course, talking about Bijan, everybody was talking. Basically, Kevin's account again. Talking about how he loves Bijan. It's bad that running backs go out. Good evening to you, Mike. Hi, Mike. Mike is one of my new followers, and he has a podcast as well. We're wearing a throwback Vic jersey tonight. Yeah, we all sick on here, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. It's got dog prints and everything on it. It's customized.
Here we go. Why we got to go ahead and pick like that now? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. Bone fragments.
That's funny.
Not from the dog, from like milk bones or something. All right. So I mean, that's great and everything. let's switch gears, guys. So we've gotten through the whole NFL, the coaches and everything. Fern, this was a really, really big night, big week for you. Mike said there's some cush on it. You got that right, Mike. This was a big week for you. Notre Dame got in there and got domed up out of there.
Yeah, beginning of the season, we all had our reservations. I'm a part of another Ohio State crew. We watch the game at Hudson Grill. That's a Ohio State bar. And everybody had their reservations, coming out. We played well against Indiana. We struggled against Marshall. I went to that game, actually. Everybody was looking at the big bad Ohio State and the $20 million. That's all I heard in my ear. We spent $20 million. We look like this. Chip Kelly is being very conservative. That's not the way Chip Kelly plays. And then the Michigan game happened, right? The Michigan game happened. We got beat. And I remember telling Kev this. I said, with the talent that we have on that team, they need to go dark. They need to go look in the mirror, and they need to ask themselves, who do we want to be? We're going to the playoffs. We're going to play, at the time, a daunting Tennessee team, which everybody was saying Tennessee is this, their defensive line, blah, blah, blah. They had to go take a deep look in the mirror at themselves. Ryan Day, mainly because he got roasted. They were calling for his head in Columbus.
Yeah.
They wanted him out. And they did. They did that. They went dark. They looked in the mirror. They did a self-evaluation because it was 2 weeks before we played Tennessee, because we didn't play in the Big Ten championship game. We lost to Oregon by a point, by a very devious play by their head coach, which I can't stand them. And Oregon, Oregon wanted to crown themselves the champions that night. And they went and took a deep, dark look. Chip Kelly went out. He brought the playbook out, and he did exactly like this. He opened it up. You got Jeremiah Smith, one of the, if not the best wide receiver. I know J Train talk about wide receiver. Watch out for us next year. You got Jeremiah Smith. You got Emeka Ibuka. You got Carnell Tate. G. Scott. You had all of these players around it. Then you had a double-headed monster in the backfield with Travion Henderson and Junkins. And you know what we did? Not even talking about our defense. I'm going to even talk about that. I'm going to go there. That night, we said, if you can't stop us through the air, and you're not going to stop us on the ground. And our defense showed up. Captain Jack, Igbenosin, all those guys showed up. Denzel Burke, another player who just kept biting on plays, and he played a hell of a game that week. Caleb Downs, moving him to the box. We showed what we were made of, and we showed, like everybody says, what $20 million can do, right? Did that. We went to Oregon. They'll count us out. Oregon is the best team in the Big Ten. Oregon's this, Oregon's that. And they said the worst thing, and I haunt Oregon fans with this. They said, we're going to play man. Jeremiah Smith said, God bless you if you play man. And that was the exact words. And he torched them on the ground. The only team I would say that put a fighting chance up against us was Texas. And because Texas put a safety over the top. They didn't let Jeremiah get. I think he touched the ball maybe 2 or 3 times that game. And we said, okay, you're going to do that. Now we're going to play pounding. I call it grab and run. We're going to pound on the ground. We're going to hit you with we're going to go with Travion. We're going to switch it up, and we're going to just give you a double hit of our running back. We have just an all-around great team. And I knew Notre Dame wasn't going to be ready for us. I didn't have no fear in my heart with Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is a great team. But they opened up with – I think they took the ball down the field with the quarterback for like almost 60 yards. He was tired. He was trained.
That was
and my buddy texted me. We were downtown. My buddy texted me. He's like, oh, no. I'm like, they're not going to do that all game long. I was like, our defensive coordinator looked and said, okay, got you. You going to run your quarterback? All right, you're going to get hurt. All right, so we got to do this. We got to do that. I think Ohio State was counted out, in the beginning of the year. Everybody had their quarrels about us. But it took a little while for us to get adjusted and to play comfortable. Will Howard to get adjusted to that offense. And, geez, it came at the right time. I thank Michigan for that loss. I really do. I thank them for that.
And we congratulate you. I want to address some comments here. Mike, again, from Mike Patton Network, says Notre Dame couldn't have won that game even if Touchdown Jesus played for them. And then he says, man, quit playing. Ohio State had Big Worm show up wanting his return on his investment, and they stepped to Big Worm like Craig. And then he says Jeremiah Smith could easily go first round right now. And now I know this is not Kevin for sure, because he was leaning back when the comment came in. So my apologies to him. It's funny how it was an all Big Ten final, but SEC is considered head and shoulders above every conference. And then Mike again says, "What up with those padded shorts?"
Notre Dame showed that was wrong. Notre Dame showed that was wrong. They stuck it to the dogs. We went through 2 SEC teams and beat them handedly. The SEC got to wake up a little bit. It's a new day. No offense to my brothers I know they SEC guys, but it's a new day. 2 back-to-back Big Ten teams as national champions. 2 back-to-back. That's the only credit I give for Michigan.
I got a question.
I want to say right now, just like you said, it's a new day. That's what's going to happen with the Super Bowl. It's a new day. It's time for somebody other than the chefs to be in there. Dave Portnoy rips Ohio State versus Notre Dame. TV ratings plummet, y'all. Nobody wasn't even watching this game. 34-23. J-Train, what did you have to say on that, brother?
Look, nobody. I think no one wanted to watch it because of Notre Dame. If Ohio State was playing another team, maybe like in the SEC or something like that, maybe it would have been more ratings. It would have been a bigger game. Because, I mean, first of all, Ohio State was obliterating by halftime. It was just over. The game was over. And you already knew where it was at. And so I can see why that happened. But I want to ask A-Train this question. We're talking about Big Ten and what they're doing. Who has the number 1 rated transfer portal right now this year?
Tell me.
LSU.
Good.
LSU.
I'm happy. I'm happy for LSU. I'll tell you this. I'll be honest with you. You got a lot of, and I'll be honest with you, J Train. LSU does, and I think LSU is going to be. I think they're going to be a pretty decent team this year. But you got a lot of sourfoots out there that are SEC fans. They did not want to see Ohio State. They did not want to see Notre Dame. They didn't. They just didn't want to see that because the SEC in their mind, they feel like we are the most dominant division. We've been a dominant division for years ago. Well, we can actually say Alabama has been a dominant division because Alabama is in the SEC, but they've owned it. They've owned the SEC, and they put a really good face on them. But I'm not going to take away from the talent that comes out of the SEC.
They own the SEC?
But they own the SEC. They do. And no shot to you, Kev. Y'all went back to back. Yeah,
went back to back.
Before y'all
yeah, but that, I mean, before that, come on. Before that.
It was like almost 30 years. It was 30 years.
Hell, even LSU had more than Georgia.
LSU had more. So it's just like,
even, and we had to get through Alabama. So I mean, that's just Kev. Y'all lucky. Y'all, you can stop right there because y'all were on the weakest side of the SEC, and y'all still couldn't get anywhere.
Y'all SEC fans.
We was a kick away from actually, and I'm not going to make any excuses, but we was a kick away from putting Georgia on their back.
Did we win that game?
Yeah, I did. My point. I got you.
We talking.
And Kev, that's what I was trying to reason in my head. I'm like, why is Notre Dame here? We should be playing Georgia. That's what I really wanted. But obviously that didn't happen. I was like, man, what happened?
Quarterback guy.
All right. I'll take it.
There's some more comments in here. Saying, let's go. Kilby says the top to bottom SEC has more talent, but the top tier teams can compete with the SEC teams. Arizona State played well against Texas.
Very well.
Then Mike says, I was wondering where that brother from Rocky IV was to throw in the towel. And he says, here goes the DJA tribe. I knew he was coming from a non-SEC fan. Kevin's cousin again. Bama got smoked by an old Big 12 team, Oklahoma, that put them out in the playoffs. I was shocked they got dominated like that. And then Mike again says, when Georgia lost Beck, I knew they. Yeah, so Carson Beck, let's be clear, he was subpar anyway. He was never going to be.
I'm about to say before he went down.
He was never.
Why are we putting? So we're making it seem like Carson Beck was a savior. They beat you guys on both sides of the ball.
He was the fill-in for he was fill-in for Bennett after Bennett left, and that's been Bennett, and they have not been in it since.
But y'all let Notre Dame quarterback run all over y'all defense. Not the big bad Georgia. They let
let me
Notre
ask
Dame
y'all
quarterback
this. Let me
run
ask
straight
y'all
up the gut.
But let me ask y'all this: if we have Carson Beck, you think we lose that game?
Yes. I wouldn't say what. Hey, listen, Kev. I'll be honest with you. I'll say yes, and the reason why I say yes is because Notre Dame had the momentum on their side, and I don't think Carson. I don't think Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck would have been a closer game, but I don't think Carson Beck would have been able to. I don't think he would have been the guy that you thought he was going to be, not in that playoff game. If you had him, I think Notre Dame was just the team to win that night. You know,
Carson Beck is streaky, Kev. Carson Beck is streaky.
Very streaky. Very.
He still led the SEC. I still don't understand, but he still led the SEC in touchdowns.
Carson Beck for this season had 3,485 yards, 28 touchdowns, almost half of them in interceptions, 12 interceptions. But he was ranked at 80%. So that's solid for a quarterback rank.
So that's what I'm saying. Y'all acting like Carson Beck was that type of, I mean, honestly, he wasn't great. He wasn't like the season before, but look at the NFL, Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers. They were the top two rookies this year. If it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, it would be Ladd McConkey or Brock Bowers for the offensive rookie of the
year. Yeah, and both of those are in the NFL now. And like Mike said, Bennett did have a bad season, but he also did leave some comebacks that were incredible last season. And then, of course, with that being said, Beck is going to be pretty bad at Miami. I mean, Miami's bad regardless. Like, we're just like, who, the what? Okay.
But Miami got wide receivers.
This is what I'm going to say about Carson Beck. He's trying to get what he can right now because he know at the next level, he's on the bench or he's in the practice squad. He know he's not that.
You know what?
Yeah, look at Stephen Bennett. He's out there basically selling cologne. He's not doing anything.
I say it like this: Carson Beck might not be as great, but I would rather be in the position he's in because he's going to get drafted to a team that's going to be good. Like he might get drafted to a not to a Washington, but to a 49er team or to a Rams team or to a maybe even Kansas City. You know, a team like that doesn't really need a quarterback right now, but can develop a guy, and then who knows, he might mess around and get in there.
Mike Patton, that's not the main reason he went to Miami, brother.
Well, because his girlfriend, he went because of the money.
We know his
Mike
girl.
Patton gave you 6 million reasons why he went there.
Yeah, he got. I know his girl is there, but he went there for the money. He did.
Yeah, the money was great.
He's gonna be making more money in college while he can be in college because y'all know the NIL deal stretches out to you're 40 years old now. So, I might suit up and go back in and see if I can play college football.
And I'll make a statement back to the SEC thing. I would say in all honesty, yes, top to bottom, the SEC does have most of the talent, but the tide is turning. I mean, just recently, Michigan offered Jeremiah Smith $5 million to come there. Like, it's a battle between us right now so right now, the trenches are going to be who pays the most. The NIL is going to change the entire landscape of football. And that's why I say, it's a little bit different when you make a decision, to go to a warmer climate, in the South, which mainly a lot of players went because of it's a warmer climate. It's closer to a lot of players come from out of the South. Florida, top 9 players, Florida, Georgia, Texas. They want to stay closer to home. But when you have a booster sitting on the other side of the table from you, and you and your mom and your dad never seen this type of money, and they say, listen, I'll pay you $6 million to come to Oregon. I'll pay you $10 million to come to Ohio State. I'll pay you, $7 million to come to Michigan. That's going to change a lot, So the SEC as we know it, yes, talent is there, but I don't know for how long. It's going to be it's going to be basically players are going to go to the highest bidder. That's just what it is. So it's
that's where rules are going to come in at some point. It's either going to be this season or next season, where they're going to have to make stipulations to where you require a player to stay minimum 2 years. Because you'll never have any continuity on any team at all.
No.
And a lot of these players, they go into the league and like Kilpie was saying, Kilpie, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. But he was saying, or she was saying that, these players go to teams that are already playoff bound. So they have a chance to sit and actually learn how to win, not just learn, to acclimate and continue with the team, but they learn, the way I like to refer to it as the Green Bay way. I wanted to tell you guys right now, The Athletic and CBS Sports are reporting that Miami's NIL collective with Carson Beck, is between $3 to $4 million, and it's double the $1.6 million that Cam Ward was paid in 2024. So Beck's NIL representative didn't specify, but just that right there lets you know, if he know he's going to be a low pick in the draft, he know he wasn't going to go day one, he's probably going to go day two at the earliest. Why not stay and get your money and be the face of an NIL deal while you still can? Because once you go into the NFL and you're a low draft like that, unless you're like Tom Brady, who really worked his way up, you just, in my opinion, get absorbed by the league, and before you know it, you're released, and no one even remembers that you went to the draft.
Get drafted to a good team. I'd rather get drafted to
it doesn't matter. Carson Beck is not in that. He's not going to play.
He's not going to play
right now. He's not in that spot.
He's not going to play. He's not.
We don't know.
Kilby talks about how Magic was in the finals as a rookie. Of course, that's basketball, but we just want to talk about it. And Mike wants to know, how long before the Fire Ryan Day chants start back up, Fern?
It's not going to start up for a while, and again, I'm like Kev. Kev said the same thing about Falcon fans, right? Ohio State fans they were wanting to win now. We've gotten so close to winning, and we haven't gotten over that hill, especially the Michigan hill. Ryan Day just won a national championship. Those Fire Ryan Day chants, my brother, those are not going to start up for maybe he got another season or two before they'll start back up. Right now, the objective for Ryan Day in next season is to beat the team up north. That is our objective. I want to go back to back. I know Junkins just declared for the NFL. I thought we were going to keep him, but he's leaving a little bit earlier. I want to see dynamically how our team looks next year. We have some 5-stars come in, have some guys switch over to us. But Ryan Day is going to stay put for another season or two, if not more. So that Fire Ryan Day after the Michigan game, everybody got all emotional, not realizing that we were still in the playoffs and Michigan wasn't. They had a lot more. We had a lot more to lose than them, and they played like it. And they beat us on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And we have to take that loss. We had to eat it. But like the saying goes, they won the battle, we won the war. That's just.
But A-Train, is losing to Michigan still fireable even if you go to the championship?
No,
every year?
No, you're right. It's not fireable. The rival between Michigan and Ohio State is one of the most heated rivals. And I've gotten a bit more of a taste because I've actually been to a game. They really focus on Michigan. Michigan is one of the most heated rivals in college football, I think, in sports. Like on both fronts, we really hate each other. So I think a knock on your chest, kind of in the sense, especially from the boosters, it's going to mean a lot more this season, being that we got the national championship out the way. Yes, we want to go back to back. But even if we don't, beating Michigan is going to be very, very, very important, especially to Ohio State, only because of that heated rival. I mean, men value different things in different ways, right? The value for boosters and alum from Ohio State is beating Michigan next year, not losing 5 in a row. We've beat them 8 years in a row. They beat us 4. We cannot let it happen the 5th time. But Ryan Day is safe. Even if he loses next year, I think he's still safe.
Yeah, and Kilby says you don't have to transform a team from winners from losing in any sport. You have an easier way to carve out your legacy. Were you at that game when the fight broke out because they were trying to plant their flag or something? Were you at that specific game, Fern?
No, I was at the Marshall game when we played Marshall. I was there to go to the Giants and Cleveland game.
That is correct.
So no, I wasn't at that game. I mean, you got lawmakers in Ohio that want to change the law. That was kind of soft. I didn't like that, but they were trying to change the laws of planting the flag. And I got a lot of flack. I got a lot of flack from a lot of people. Everybody know me. I talk a lot, right? And I got a lot of flack that day. My phone was silent Monday night. I was reaching out. I was calling. Ain't nobody where it is. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody listen. They don't even answer the text. Text unread. That's how it is when the Panthers win and I'm trying to go in a group chat. Fern, you be the only one. You and J Train be the only one congratulate me. You know, the one in the same city that literally, you know, and let's be clear, that was one of our last wins. Try to tell you, I couldn't get nothing until later on. Like he was working.
wanted
Sorry, I'm
Georgia.
late.
I'll be honest with you. I
Congrats.
didn't want Notre Dame. I wanted Georgia. I really want.
Let
Kev
me
knows this. I
tell
wanted
you
Georgia.
guys. So Michigan right now leads the all-time series against Ohio State, 61-52-6. So 6 ties out of that whole thing, which is pretty good. Which even if those 6 ties, that could have made you guys even closer with your rankings. The two teams have played each other 120 times since their first meeting in 1897. So not only is it a very well-known rivalry, it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest rivalry in college football. That's definitely saying a lot, and it says a lot about generational rivalry. You're teaching your kids, and they're teaching their kids, and these are great grandchildren right now carrying on this rivalry.
It's tough.
And Kilby talks about a few scuffles. Yeah, let me tell you something. There was not enough police out there to break none of that up. Like, you couldn't pay me enough to be out there. Like, what are you gonna do? Fire in the air? It was 1,000 people at least on that field. It was crazy.
My buddy went to that game and he said it was one of the most. And he went to Ohio State, so he's a diehard Ohio State fan. He said it was one of the most disappointing showings that Columbus has had in a while, because it was just, you gotta listen. You could be a fan all you want, you could be a diehard fan, but you got to know how to take a loss. That wasn't. They didn't take that loss. I think Ryan Day did a bad job, and because of the emotions of the game, players should have hit the showers real quick. You know what I'm saying? I would have just took the players off the field, let Michigan have their time. I mean, I think, did Oklahoma beat Michigan this year? I forgot what team beat them this year. And they planted their flag in Ann Arbor, and nobody said a word, right? It was just it was a bitter rival, and Jack Sawyer, he lost it when they planted the flag, but they shouldn't even have been on the field. Just take your loss and leave. Go look at yourself in the mirror and go win you a national championship, because we have more to lose. I'm just surprised nobody was suspended for the Tennessee game. But my thing is, we're going to the playoffs, guys. They're not. Let's keep ourselves cool. Hit the showers. You took your L. Suck it up like a man. Face the media, and let's go home and face ourselves.
It's crazy, because you're right. He's not the lawmaker in Ohio.
Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy.
The lawmaker in Ohio is not only trying to make it illegal, but make it a felony. And you guys, for those who are in law, felonies carry maximum jail time. Like, you have to go to jail.
Felonies for flag planting?
Yeah,
flag planting. That's not. You can't do that.
Fox Sports reported this from Ohio. This is December 11th. This article came out. Republican State Representative Josh Williams said he's introducing a new bill to make flag planting in sports a felony in his state.
You can't.
The proposal comes after the November 30th fight between Michigan and Ohio, where the Wolverines beat them 13-10, and then attempted to plant their flag at
That's
Midfield.
soft.
He's a homer.
That's soft.
Yeah,
that's a soft move.
The vice president backed him.
That's even more soft.
Yeah, Williams.
Yeah, vice president is an Ohio State fan. Yeah,
he's calling it the OHIO Sportsmanship Act, and so
can't do that.
He's basically saying behavior that incites violent brawls and puts our law enforcement at risk and in danger has no place on the football field. So we'll see if they pass that.
That's not going to happen. They're not going to.
Baker Mayfield from 2017 planted a flag in the middle of the field.
I remember him. He's a jerk. I don't like
the Sooners, and a lot of people hate him, for doing that. And they're saying now they're tired of it. And so next year they're going to start, cuffing and stuffing people and getting them up out of there.
Can I be honest? I love to watch the post-game interviews. I'm sorry. I hold on to things, right? I love to watch when Baker Mayfield loses, because I go straight to the post-game interviews. He talks so much crap, even with this year when they beat us, and him doing this.
Yeah, when he was like asking him if he wanted to. He was doing it. What was the little symbol he was doing for Italians?
But DeVito like this. And I'm like, you're beating up on a team who's horrible right now, and you're going to still put it. The same thing he did when Oklahoma beat Ohio State. I was watching that game. So from that point on, I made a point to go watch his post-game interviews when he loses, I want him to feel my energy. I cannot
Me,
stand.
me and
I think
Kev were
he's
the
a
only one
talented
that
guy.
believes in Baker Mayfield.
Yo,
We
let me
probably,
tell you,
I think he's
the
a
post
talent. I think
game,
he is
the
talented.
post game when Baker did that, I think it was Laura Rutledge or somebody. She's like, "Are you Italian?" He's like, "No." She's like, "Why did you do that?" It was so insulting.
Yeah, but when he takes an L, he looks like a boy that's lost.
Guys,
Yeah.
this was congratulations to you again, Fern. Super big. You get the basket that the whole year.
Yep.
Very well deserving. This is the first year we didn't see an SEC team in there. That was a big shocker. No Alabama, no Georgia, no Tennessee.
Thank God.
Wow. So yes, this is the biggest time of season now. The off season begins for everybody. And the NFL will be shortly following. Speaking of shortly following, we have appreciate all of you for bearing with us tonight for the additional views as we've gone over our hour. We're at the top of 1 hour, 45 minutes. J Train, A Train, Kevo, and myself, Sonya, Prim and Proper Sports. We've had a blast. And J Train and I will be joining you on Sunday morning for the big football show, soon to be the big sports show because it'll be transitioning to NBA. And Kevo will be joining us again next week, and they will be holding the showdown next Friday. I will be out celebrating my 50th birthday. Oh my God.
Happy birthday, Steve. Happy
Hey
birthday.
guys, I will be in Hawaii, the 50th state. So I'll be watching from there. I'm actually going to be 5 hours behind y'all. So I got to figure out how to make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be so I can see you guys live and at least comment. But we thank you all so much for coming on tonight. And this show will re-air. If you caught this halfway through, this show will re-air at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will show tomorrow on the Huddle Sports Network at 11 a.m. So with that, we all bid you good night. This has been great. Good night, guys.
Good night.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.